If you've been hanging around Soil Sage Chronicles for a while, you already know I love exposing the gardening secrets fertilizer companies hope you never learn. And today, I want to take you deep into one of the most misunderstood, yet incredibly powerful, natural gardening tools on the planet FPJ, or fermented plant juice. And yes, it really is a sweet soil trick, sweet enough to make fertilizer companies nervous. But here's the twist no one else talks about. FPJ isn't about molasses at all. Molasses is optional. Brown sugar works. White sugar works. The real magic is in the plants themselves, and the living microbes that wake up the moment sweetness hits green matter. Today, I'll walk you through the real science, show you how to make 2 different FPJs, and guide you step by step through a powerful comparison experiment you can run in your own garden. Whether you're brand new to natural farming or you've been composting since before organic was trendy, this guide is built to give you reliable, evergreen value you can return to every growing season. Let's dive in. You know, most gardeners hear about FPJ in bits and pieces. Maybe someone mentions molasses in a Facebook group, or another gardener swears you need a specific brand of sugar, and honestly, the whole practice ends up sounding a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But here's the truth. Straight out of Korean natural farming principles, FPJ works because sugar pulls out plant enzymes and feeds beneficial microbes. That's it. Sugar isn't there to sweeten the soil. It's a preservative, a microbe activator, and a nutrient extractor. The type of sugar doesn't matter nearly as much as the plant you choose. And when we stop obsessing over molasses, we can finally focus on what really counts. Using the right plants, fermented the right way, at the right time. So, this is where the secret becomes powerful. FPJ turns everyday plant material into a bioavailable growth booster strong enough to rival store-bought fertilizers, and you get all that without the chemicals, the cost, or the corporate nonsense. Choosing your plant is honestly the real engine behind FPJ. One of the reasons FPJ is so misunderstood is because, well, most guides never explain why you must choose the right plant for the right purpose. FPJ essentially captures a plant's current growth hormones. So, if you harvest fast-growing plant tips, your FPJ becomes a vegetative growth stimulant. If you use flowering plant parts, your FPJ supports reproductive growth, helping with fruit set and blooming. For this article, you're not just choosing one plant, you're choosing 2. Why? Because we're going to run a powerful, eye-opening test. Here's what I recommend. FPJ number 1. A fast-growing plant. Use something vigorous and leafy like sweet potato tips, pumpkin tips, bamboo shoots, tithonia shoots, or even young spinach. The key is rapid cell division. FPJ number 2 is all about using an aromatic or medicinal plant. This gives you a different nutrient profile. Think tithonia, comfrey, neem leaves, mugwort, or even lemongrass. These plants often produce FPJs that boost plant immunity, root strength, or even fruit quality. With these 2 FPJs, you'll be able to compare how different plant hormones influence the plants you feed. Alright, let's get into the practical steps for making FPJ the right way, with ratios that actually work. No fluff here, just real tested ratios used by farmers all over the world. FPJ uses a simple foundational rule: equal weight of plant material and sugar. This ratio has been tested for decades. It keeps the fermentation aerobic and prevents spoilage while extracting enzymes efficiently. Start by harvesting your plant material early in the morning when sugars and hormones are highest. Chop it into small pieces. Weigh it. Then add the same weight of sugar. Mix until everything is coated and begins to look wet. That's the osmotic pressure at work. The sugar is pulling the liquids out. Pack the mixture loosely into a jar, cover it with a cloth or a lid kept very lightly screwed on, and let it sit in a shaded, airy place. Within a few days you'll see a golden, fragrant liquid rising. After 5 to 7 days, strain it and store the liquid in a dark bottle. That's your FPJ, and that little bottle contains more power than most synthetic fertilizers can match. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is using FPJ too strong. FPJ is not fertilizer, it's a biological stimulant, and stimulants really must be used lightly. The golden rule is simple: 1 to 500 dilution for general growth. That means 2 milliliters per liter of water, or 20 milliliters per 10 liters. For seedlings or sensitive plants, go softer, 1 to 800 or even 1 to 1000. But here's what matters most: consistent, gentle application. Think of FPJ like vitamins. A small amount regularly is more effective than dumping on a strong dose once in a while. How to apply FPJ correctly, including different garden sizes. I want this article to truly serve you, so let's break this down into real garden scenarios. If you have a 1 square meter garden bed, use 2 liters of diluted FPJ solution at a ratio of 1 to 500. This is enough to moisten the surface soil and lightly soak into the root zone. So, if you're working with a 10 square meter plot, you'll want to use about 10 liters of diluted FPJ solution. Just make sure to apply it evenly, and do this early in the morning or late in the afternoon to avoid any microbial shock from that harsh sunlight. Now, for container gardeners, small pots need around 250 milliliters of diluted solution each, while larger containers really benefit from about 400 to 600 milliliters. The beauty of FPJ, honestly, is its flexibility. Since it works through enzymes and microbial signals instead of heavy nutrients, your plants rarely suffer from overfeeding, as long as you stay within the recommended dilution guidelines. This is where it gets exciting. You're going to run the same kind of test I run here on Soil Sage Chronicles, and honestly, it's simple. Set up 3 identical groups of plants. Group A will receive FPJ number 1, Group B will receive FPJ number 2, Group C, and this is very important, receives only water. Apply each FPJ once every 7 days at the 1 to 500 dilution. Keep every other factor the same: sunlight, soil, watering schedule, and container size. Now watch. Within 2 weeks you'll start seeing differences. One FPJ may push more foliage growth, another may deepen leaf color or accelerate flowering. The control group will almost always lag behind both. This is how gardeners learn what works, not by copying recipes blindly, but by observing their own soil, their own plants, their own climate. FPJ is alive, and the more you experiment with it, the better your garden responds. The part fertilizer companies don't want you to know: here's the reason this trick feels almost rebellious: FPJ is virtually free. The plants you use grow all around you. Sugar is cheap. Fermentation doesn't require machines or laboratories, yet, the results are powerful enough to rival many commercial fertilizers. FPJ activates the soil's own biology, encourages nutrient cycling, and strengthens plant immunity naturally. No chemical salts, no dependency loops, no burnt roots, and no corporate upselling. This is why traditional farmers in Korea have trusted FPJ for generations, not because it's trendy, but because it works, season after season. When you make FPJ, you're not just creating a liquid fertilizer, you're building a relationship with your soil, learning its rhythm, and giving it the living signals it needs to thrive. If you're serious about growing beyond chemicals and becoming the kind of gardener who understands soil the way a chef understands flavor, FPJ is a tool you need in your toolbox. It's simple, it's effective, and it honors the natural processes that make plants resilient. Now that you know how to make not 1 but 2 FPJs, and how to run your own side-by-side test, you're ready to take your garden to a whole new level. And remember, the magic of FPJ doesn't come from molasses, or sugar, or jars. It comes from participating in the living ecosystem right beneath your feet. If you enjoyed this resource and want more deep-dive garden wisdom, make sure you subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles, share this article with a fellow gardener, and keep coming back for more soil-powered discoveries. Your garden is alive. Let's help it flourish together.